The last video, I just did a demonstration of the artifact folder that you needed and the report folder. So I'm going to get rid of both of them there. And I'll just get rid of the artifact folder for the moment there. So bye-bye to it. Now we jump back in here to our Repl. So how do we get our Repl stuff? Well, there's two ways to do it. And it mightn't even be your Repl stuff. You could have it done in Visual Studio. You may have it done in some other integrated development environment of your choice. So it depends. But in Repl, it's really easy to get this stuff out. So if you just go to the three dots up here, beside this kind of add file, add folder, these three dots, click on those three dots and you get the following menu that pops up and it says download as zip. So click on that and then it's going to ask you, I would imagine in a moment, where you'd like to download it to. So it's coming up there, maybe a bit big for the moment. Where do I want to download it? So I'm just going to download it to the desktop there. So I'm going to give it the file name leak detector. Maybe I'll call it artifact. You know, again, we're going to have to rename this in a later video to the conventions of the Leaving Cert Computer Science submission naming. So I call it artifact. I'm going to download it to my desktop and I'm going to save there now, and literally that downloads that zip file there. You can open it that way, or I'm going to go to my desktop here and find it there. So that was a zip folder. See it over there in the corner. So artifact. Now that is zipped at the moment, so it means it's compressed. So I need to right click and extract all of that stuff. Again, I'm going to send it to the desktop. If you just go for the same place, extract, it's going to extract that to the folder. So I click off that now for a moment and you'll notice there's the folder now I'm after extracting from here. So bye-bye to this fella. Good luck. In here, we go into that. So now we've got our folder. And this is where we're going to come across the first of our problems. So you'll notice I only have one image associated with that. Water leak detect. Now you may have 10 or you may have 20 images. And we're going to have a problem, as I'll show you in a second. When I go to index, and well, the pictures come up and that's great. However, in reality, if you have 10 or 20 pictures, you don't want all of them to be, you know, in here with all your index page and all these pages. So you're going to create a little folder called images. So we'll call that images, IMAGES. And I'm going to shove that folder and any other folder or photos that are in here with all the main files in that images. And if you had videos, if you had any videos there, you would also create a videos folder. So I'll just call it videos. And if you had any videos, you'd put them in there. Now, we're going to come across a little bit of a problem, because if I go back into my index page now, my images have disappeared. And I've made two mistakes here that I need to correct. So the first one is I should have had an ALT attribute. So if I go back here now to my folder again and go right click and open with Notepad, and in here find out where those images are, and those images are, and just make this a little bit bigger. If we go down there, this is where the image is. It's in a div element called that has a class called drip container, and there's the first image, the image is water leak detect.jpg and water leak detect.jpg. So by default, when you just put in the name of the image, by default it looks immediately in here in this folder. So let's make this medium item. So it looks in here, and as you can see, we have no photo called water leak detect. It's in our images folder. So by default, it looks in here and doesn't find it, and we've got an error. So what I want to do first of all is I want to put what's known as an ALT attribute, and basically saying that tell the user what that image is about. And this is also useful for screen readers and accessibility in terms of if an image gets deleted or something, water leaking from a tap, maybe from a tap. So water leaking from a tap, and now you'll see the big difference here. I also put it in, I'll leave it out of the other one, you'll see the difference. So go back in here now and I'll refresh. And now this time, when I navigate over this photo, and it should have happened there, apologies. Maybe it's the other photo, maybe they're mixed up. And oh, did I save the notepad? Maybe I didn't save you have to save the notepad, save. Now let's refresh it. And now you can see that the ALT, which only shows up when the picture is not working, water leaking from a tap. And you can see on the other one over here to the right, nothing is happening because I haven't provided the ALT attribute. So I'm going to put that in here now as well. And that's very important from an accessibility point of view for two reasons. This also, for anyone who's blind, if they come in here, they can navigate over this photo when it's working, by the way, as well. And it will say a picture of water leaking from a tap or that. So that's the first thing there that should be important. Let's refresh it now and we should have, again, I didn't save the notepad. Let's do that. File, save, and now refresh and we're back in business. Okay, long story short, that's the ALT. That's not what we wanted anyway. So it's very simple to change the error that I have here of the source. So currently, when it goes looking from the folder, by default, it looks in the same folder as where all the stuff is, where the actual HTML page is. It cannot find it because our photo is in the images folder here, and all I need to do is redirect it or correct the file path to look inside the images folder. And to do that, very simply, I just jump in here and I type in IMAGES, so that's the folder where it is, and /, and it says, okay, so in your default folder, look for a folder called images and check inside there and you should find the photo. So again, let's have a look here. We'll save this. You have to keep saving your notepad or it won't work. And go back and refresh it. And now you can see the active learning, the ALT attribute, which stands for alternative text, I should say. That is not showing now, but someone who is a visual impairment will navigate over that picture and it will say, picture of water leaking from a tap, or water leaking from a tap. And you can see there that's not even water leaking from a tap. I didn't give a great name there, but you can fix it up if you want. So go back in here again. The other one hasn't been fixed because by default it's looking for this photo. By default it's looking for it in the main folder here where the index page is. It's looking for it in here, cannot find it. So it's saying what's going on when we know we have it shoved in a folder called images. So if we just say, hey, throw images in there /. So now in the folder you're looking, you'll find a folder called images. Check inside there and we should be sorted now to try and find it. And let's check now that that's all working. Bang, all working there. Great stuff. And again, it's really important to understand that distinction, that when you move some stuff out of Repl and all that, to tidy up your stuff, you should have an images folder, and it only takes, it really doesn't. But if you have 10 or 20 photos, that can take a half an hour to fix up everything.